Hey everyone, although I'm not able to see you, but happy to be sharing with you tonight. So now that we talk about Meta, since to talk about some Vision Pro, um, and actually I've been working on Vision OS ever since it came out 2 years, more than 2 years ago. Um, and my name is Juan, by the way, as you heard before. And I'm the creator of Homerise. So this is something I was doing actually for iPad. And on iOS, I already had a version, a feature where you could put markers on AR. So when Vision Pro came out, for me, it was like a natural transition to go and try and see what I could do on Vision OS. So this is just a quick demo. We're going to dive into it a little more later. Um, I've been also doing some other side projects like Alan Play, which a study case to catch berries. I'm currently working on Swedish Studio. This is something I call like that so far. So it's to place furniture in your space. Also was working with Umbi, which is a an app to help people who have ASL disorder, so they can no longer move or speak, and we're using dual control to allow them to uh, communicate with people. So there's the microphone, we hear it, and yeah, they will stare at an option, and it's going to speak out loud for them. And my last talk was at the Swift Connection 2025 in Paris, and it was about how to make a custom slider for Vision OS and iOS. So working on both platforms. So you can go and check it out later. I'm also part of Studio 84. So Studio 84 is a collective of developers and filmmakers and designers and 3D artists in Paris. So we joined together to uh, uh, try to tackle bigger projects than we could do on our own. And some of them have made projects like Bastide, which was a film for the president of France, and also TGV, which is the railway system in France. I'm also part of a Step into Vision community. So I'm actually hosting the uh, weekly session for Europe. So there's two sessions that we have, one on Thursday and another one on Friday, which is more on US schedule. So I invite you to join if you wanna get a good place to start on Vision OS. You can definitely join this community. You can look for it on the web, and there's a Discord where you can join. All right, so let's get started. Why is XR so awesome, and why do I love it so much? Um, I think one of the uh, difficulties to transmit Vision OS and everything that's related to XR is the immersive part of it. So one thing is looking at a screen as we're doing now. And another thing is to actually try it by yourself, to have the headset on and do things with your hands and move around in your space. So after this session, I encourage you to, I know that it's not available in Spain, but maybe have a friend or somebody who can just give it, you can try it for a couple minutes and you're going to see how different it is. Mm, what I like about XR is that you're so immersed that you can do anything you imagine. Like you can move things around, you can pop them out from thin air, uh, do gestures to command them, and is this tension that you otherwise wouldn't have on a screen. So, just to level up the ground for everybody on the audience, like let's go to the basics on uh, Vision OS. So we have Reality Composer Pro, which is the software to put together the scene and the 3D assets. We have Reality Kit, which is the engine um, that is going to display the 3D graphics and make the simulations. And we also have AR Kit, which is the framework for world sensing. So this is the one that's going to allow us to get information about the reconstruction of the geometry of the world, the positions of the hands, and etc. But it gets more complicated than that. And as you're going to see on this talk, and that was my first impression when I started uh, on Vision OS and I started participating in the community, is that there is a whole lot of subjects that are uh, outside of what we would consider app development, but that are necessary to build XR experiences. Mm, So we're going to have already USDC is the file format that Apple chose as a standard for 3D assets. And before the iOS, or let's say before the Apple uh, world, there's a lot of things in the pipeline. So we're going to have 3D modeling tools like Blender and Houdini that are going to allow us to sculpt a texture, animate, rig, put the shaders, etc. And oh, sorry. And before that, or alongside those tools, um, we also have for example, we could buy directly 3D assets. So if you are a beginner, you don't need to go to build your own assets. You can just go and grab them from CG Trade or Sketchfab. We also have AI that is going to allow us to generate assets today. So this is great for indie developers as myself, because I don't have a team of 3D artists, right? Um, there are some it's not perfect though. Like, of course, sometimes the geometry that you have from this Gen AI is not optimized. So that's also why I put like there's also already good assets that you find on the web. And finally, we also have sounds uh, that we can do with 11 Labs to create SFX or pseudo or music, for example. Um, and here I put this slide here to scare you a little bit, uh, but also to encourage you to go and look on your own. Just Google if there's a word that you don't understand here, and you should go and Google it, because all of this is what I had to like. I've been learning during the past couple of years that I had to understand to know how to put together an Excel experience. You don't need to master everything. You don't need to go and do topology yourself. You just need to understand why topology is important and how is it going to affect performance in your app. Um, there's so yeah, just go and look for it if you don't know any of these terms. So here's my summary on AI for Vision OS. So there's a lot of things you can do. There are some things that work really well, like generation of images and sounds. I think that's a really good start. The generation of 3D assets is quite good too, but beware that this is not optimized. So um, when an extra experience for closer to 3D game development. So you will want to make sure that your assets are optimized so that you don't have lags through runtime. On the other side, on the coding side, it's really good at 3D math. It's fairly good at Swift UI. Is a little less better for reality kit stuff, especially because there's uh, uh, just a headset that reality kit for an AR kit for Vision OS and iOS are not fully compatible. The APIs are slightly different, so you might want to check that out. And finally, and this is where I put your attention to, the Vision OS scaffolding is not so good. What I mean by this is that if you start a project from scratch with AI, mm, sometimes it's not going to give you the right architecture for the type of app you're trying to create. So try to take your time when you're starting the project. Try to look at the simple apps and see which is the architecture that fits you better. Right. So let's talk about Spatial UX. By the way, this one I put up the bottom because I think this is where AI is really lacking and where we as humans shine actually. So Vision Pro is a platform that works mainly with the eyes. So for visual feedback, we interact with our hands, and we have feedback with sound. So we have to craft an experience that is going to trick our brain into thinking something is real in front of them, like almost like we can touch it. There is this famous quote. It says that good design is actually a lot harder to notice than poor design, in part because good design fits our needs so well that it's almost invisible. So it means that when something's working, it's like you feel that it's the way it's supposed to be, and you don't see it, or you don't pay too much attention to it. But if you know, like when you try something and you feel that something is off, you have this feeling, right? It's hard to describe, but it's there. And this is so what we're going to try to explore today. So um, let's get into the first case. So for example, I was doing, this is HomeRise, the HomeRise app I told you about for smart home. Um, one of the features that was trying to implement was I was trying to actually make spatial widgets before Vision OS 26. So this is prior to Vision OS 26, and I was making uh, permanent widgets with snapping and other fancy behaviors I'm going to show you. So surface snapping, let's see a video. All right, so what can we appreciate here? Like the first thing is the sound. So as you hear, whenever the widget is going to snap, there's a sound. And I also included a visual feedback, as you see with the wave here, to give it a more physical sense, right? To make it feel like it's something that's actually impacting to the surface. Uh, so here, for example, you can use AI to here I use AI to create the shape, like the circle of that one was easy. Let's continue to the other examples. Um, I also included a palm menu. So you look at the palm and you have a menu, or you can also look at the wrist and there's going to be a menu attached to your wrist. It also, this menu is going to be contextualized. So if you go from one room to the other, it's going to change what you see. And this is because you can declare the rooms in your home. So this is the way you're able to detect which room the user is in. So here again, what's the part with AI and what's the part that was very human? So you can ask AI to do something like, oh, I want to show a view that is attached to my wrist in, let's say, 10 centimeters away. Yeah. But the part where you'll need to put your perception in is going to be, where do I put this view? Which angle? Which distance? Is it always showing? Is it facing me, or is it aligned with the wrist? Uh, does it show at 25 degrees when I'm lifting the wrist, like here? And when does it start showing? And when is it going to be hidden? So I'm not going to be flutter by something always visible on my wrist. But these are the things that you really need to iterate yourself with your own hands. Let's go for another example. So here I was exploring a way to manipulate widgets, so to put them uh, uh, they are placed here on the on your room, but I wanted a way to call them, right? So I made a gesture to call them, but I also used AI to make the onboarding. So something that changes from mobile to um, XR is that um, reading a lot of text doesn't feel so nice. Having, for example, an onboarding with pages is not so. Um, it's a little boring, and the user is not going to read everything. So, for example, here I used an onboarding with sound, and also on each step of the way, I wait for the user to actually perform the action. Let's check it.
Introducing orbital control. Spatial widgets are even better when you can summon them to follow you around. Just extend your arm towards a widget and do a come here gesture. Let's try it out. That's the way. Now this widget is pinned to orbital control. To make it return to its original location, just flick your hand in a go away motion. Go ahead. Now, if you want to summon all visible widgets at once, simply do a come here gesture with both hands. Do it again to summon the rest of the widgets, even those in other rooms. Now, dismiss all widgets by doing a go away motion with both hands. Great. Another alternative to summon orbital control is by doing a double-handed grab and pull gesture. A short pull will summon only visible widgets. Do a longer pull to summon all the widgets. And as you might have guessed, you can do a double-handed grab and push to dismiss all widgets. Easy peasy. Orbital control is dynamic and flexible. You can drag each widget to the angle that feels most natural to you. Widgets also repel each other slightly, so your layout stays neat without any effort. To navigate in 360 degrees, just grab with one hand and rotate. All right, time to enjoy your new superpowers.
Right. So that's that was a really nice experiment. That I was doing with Always. I think I'm going to decommission part of this, but it was definitely a really nice exploration of what you can do with XR, and where um, where it may go in the future, even from the OS point of view. So let's go to the next use case. So here, I was also making a study case. This is an independent study case that I made for Alan, which is on French health insurance, and they have something called Play, which was on mobile, and they have some berries that you win for completing some challenges. So I wanted to make something that you could experience on your own space. Uh, so something that you could really play with. And this is what I propose to do. So let's check this out. Yeah. So here, just to make a little focus on things that happen because it happens so fast. Uh, I went a lot like thinking a lot of the and going back to spatial UX. So spatial UX is how you're going to uh, feel when you're using the app. And it starts by making choices like, okay, I have a game where I have to put berries around, but where do I get from the state where I have the menu and click on, okay, I want to start the game to the phase of the berries actually being spread across the room. So what's the transition going to be to take the user to stand from where he's maybe sitting to actually go and play and catch the berries? And do it in such a way that it feels so natural and easy to read. So some of the considerations that I took for this game was actually calculating the height of the berries according to the height of the user. So the first natural step was to encourage the users to stand up, which was done with this menu. So here I have the actual height, the estimated height of the user, so it's calculated from the position of the headset to the nearest floor. So that way he's going to try to stand up and match the height, his actual height. Right. And then when we click on start, the menu is going to move towards the center of the room because that's where we want the berries to spread from. If they started spreading from here, many of them will be around this corner of the room. But we want to maximize like the spread area. So the best way to do it was to calculate the middle of the room. So it goes to the middle of the room. The berries start appearing. There's just a rotation animation, and then they fly away to the corners. So they attach to the walls, but also to the surfaces. And just to complement the experience, these are the details that you might want to uh, use to really trick the user into believing this is real. So we have rounding shadows, like you see here. We have a little wind effect. It's not very noticeable on the video, but when you're wearing the headset, it's clearer. We also have all these props around, so we have little glass and the branches that you see there. We have environment occlusion. So as you can see here, as I move towards the side of the wall, the elements are really occluded behind real world geometry. Um, I also added this squishing effect. So there is not just a standing object there in place, but it's dynamic and it depends like when we're approaching our hand, it's going to start squeezing. Um, and finally, all the details towards, okay, what happens when I actually catch the berry? And it's the animation that goes into the particle effects, the explosion, the sound, because there's also the sound that comes with and the timing of each part of the animation. So uh, as you see, this is a combination of AI uh, and this craftsmanship, right? So we can use AI as a way to boost our productiveness. So, for example, a typical use case here was making a way to squish the berry. So it was I went ahead and asked the AI to squish the berry with the perpendicular axis uh, to the normal of the palm of the hand. Yeah. So it's a lot of math that I don't want to do, and they are really it's good at this kind of stuff. But you just need to have the idea, like what will feel nice. And this came from testing and experimenting with it, because the first time that I was making the functionality, the catching, there was only the sound and maybe the explosion effect. But it felt a little flat somehow. So I went on and continued iterating to create this nice effect. All right, and so what is the purpose of all this? I think AI is allowing us to go from a role to see ourselves not only as a developers or a programmer, but to go to be a design engineer. Like it's something that allows us to do more, that makes us human. And I really think the best way to design an experience for XR is by actually prototyping and testing in XR. So yeah, I encourage you to really try it on device, and hopefully that way you can make your UX shine in the future. So to wrap up, let's go with some takeaways. So AI empowers us to do more, and but just keep in mind that it relies on previous human craftsmanship. Um, an example, uh, when I was starting uh, widgets on Vision OS, we had only drag gesture, which was really linear, and I had to implement something on my own. But nowadays we have, for example, manipulation component, which is great. So keep in mind that anything the AI is going to propose you or going to be using, it's a lot of APIs that were made by humans behind. Second, there is this that I want to call proprioceptive empathy, and it's just the way you feel human, right? Because you have a human body with eyes and ears and emotions. And this is where AI is going to fail to replicate. And you need to understand this fully to make a successful XR experience. And finally, we're in the phase where we're designing the and defining the semantics and design affordances for spatial UX. And all of these are deeply rooted in our human experience. Okay, so that's all for me. I hope you enjoy it. Now to finish, I'm going to repeat the message like for the funding campaign for Suit Barcelona. Um, and I think it's time for some questions.
First, let's give a round up for Wallet, please. All right, let's open up for some questions. I can start. So Juan, obviously there is, and knowing that you work with Tom and Tina, we actually met at MetaConnect. I always see Tom lying on LinkedIn for every post that says the Vision Pro is a failure and is scrapped and is cancelled. What would you say to them here whenever, if we would take this excitement away today, take your beautiful slides and what you shared away.
And if we share that with other people, they're probably going to refer to one of these articles that they're all doom and gloom. So, what do you say to myself and to the audience here this evening to sort of probably push against that and understanding that we should have?
I think it's a revolution that takes longer than we would want to. Of course, there's the backslash of the price, the technology uh, to make it smaller, lighter. But I can assure you one thing: like everyone who I've given the Vision Pro to try, they always go, "Wow! Like this is amazing." If the device was cheaper, everybody will have one. That's a guarantee.
So
So it's a matter of time.
Yeah, so we really need to just try it. Has anybody not tried the Vision Pro here? Okay, so got a few people who are in for a great time. We could say, Juan, we'll say that.
It's probably worth just going to an Apple store because especially if you have like prescription, they have
Yeah.
all of the lenses there, so they'll set it up and
You
you
need to
get,
need
you get the
a-
half an hour demo. It's always the
You need
same
an
one.
appointment or
Sorry,
you need an appointment?
not these days.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you cannot do it in Spain. You have to go to a country where they sell it.
Oh,
Like
Yeah.
sorry, my experience hasn't been.
French, Germany. French,
Not
Germany.
not in Spain, not yet. Not yet. Cool. What other questions do we have for Juan, folks?
Is Apple like abandoning or still pushing hard for?
That's the big debate. Yeah, there's that probably would leave us for a big like table discussion.
Yeah.
So if you go to careers at Apple, you're going to see a lot of open roles for Vision OS. They're definitely not abandoning it. I think what we're seeing is maybe reprioritization because as the rumor goes on, they really want to get on the glasses market soon. So hopefully that's something we will see this year. We'll see. Uh, and yeah, like in the meantime, I think the Vision Pro is a great way to start on spatial computing.
Yeah, I do have a question. I mean, I have one. I've been using it pretty consistently since I got it last December, and I love it, by the way. I mean, I stopped loving it after a few hours, and it's a bit of a mark on my nose. Yeah, I mean, other than the general complaints, yes, this thing should be cheaper. Yes, this thing should be lighter. One thing I noticed is a bit of the same issue I have like with Siri or other UI, kind of more modern UIs where it's not as trustworthy as basically poking on something. Like the whole how you have to look at the thing to manipulate it. It tends to not get either you constantly resetting the calibration, or you get to a point where you kind of have to spend a few seconds trying to really hard look at that damn thing until you can finally tap on it. So, sorry?
I haven't had that kind of problem, but
I mean, I do also because I'm very easily distractible, so I tend to look at something else all the time. But yeah, my question is if there's been attempts to like make it work with like an interactive device, like some sort of pointer or something. I mean, I actually tried out the accessibility options, and there's one where they literally point at things with your finger, and it actually works reasonably well. The only problem is you need both hands to do anything because then you can't really tap with the hand you're pointing at because then you're pointing at something else. But yeah, it would be probably a good thing for the device if there were more options to manipulate to interact with it. And because you're far more into it than I am, I was basically asking if you've seen any movement in that space.
and I think this is depends on the kind of app that you're using, and this is where I say like you have to try it on device because sometimes if it's too far away, it's going to be too small to point with your eyes. If it's too close, it might feel overwhelming, like it's going to fall upon you. And then, for example, on the various app that I show you, there's actually no need for eye tracking because you just go and grab it with your hand directly, right? So it depends a lot on your app.
Yeah, the problem with physical interaction is you need to put everything really close to yourself. which at some point you accidentally start brushing on things.
Have either of you tried something like is the Logitech Muse? They're like stylus.
I know there's things like that. I just haven't had the chance to really try them out.
Okay.
I mean, I got myself the PlayStation virtual reality controllers, but they're not really fully supported, at least as far as currently. I mean, they are supported for like games and stuff like that, but not as general interaction devices.
Okay. And Juan, how about you? Have you tried any peripherals or any physical devices like that?
Yeah, sure. So the Logitech Muse is great for designing in the air, like if you want to draw. But I mean, it's a very specific use case. You also have the PS controllers. I think they're great for gaming. So obviously the hands are not perfect for everything. If you want to make a shooter, it's going to be really tiring to do this with your hand all the time. Whereas if you have a physical button,
what ends up happening, I've only used them for like a few hours because I just got them right before flying to Barcelona. I actually found them not bad because basically you press the button and it's as if you were tapping. So it can actually be a bit more stable, especially when moving things around.
Yeah, right. What else can I say? Oh, there's a feature like maybe I didn't talk about it, but I think this is one of the strong points of Vision Pro, and it's the spatial personas with SharePlay. This like if you have tried any app like that, you're going to know that yes, this is the way to go. There's ways to do it. So one is at distance. So you have a FaceTime call, you have the spatial persona next to you, and it's really magical just to be interacting with the same 3D space. You take one object and you pass it to another person who's at the distance, and that works like a charm. The other one is co-located share play, so you can be on the same room. This is something I did in a Visual OS workshop because yeah, it's the only place that you can find more than 5 persons with an Vision Pro at the same time. And there was a colleague doing this zombie shooter game, so it's really nice to see the other people, see the for example the gun overlaid on top of his hands. You know, and you see everything. You're sharing the space, and at some point you forget you're in a game because you're sharing the space. You move freely. You're not afraid to stumble upon maybe a chair or somebody else because you're in this pass-through mode, which is really reliable for movement.
Cool. All right. What other questions do we have, folks?
This is random and more experience-based, but what do you think public perception would be if you wore them in public? Have you worn them in public?
No.
I have.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I've been in
Like
a
a co-working space versus an airplane, or
The only place
In
where
Arc de Triomphe.
Really?
Wow,
Yeah.
you're brave.
I want to make a
Exactly.
demo video for something, so I went and put the headset, and people are assholes. When you are in public, they
Yeah.
can
Really?
touch you.
They're like messing with you.
Yeah.
That's why I
It was
was
very weird.
the only
No,
place I
they
tried to
just
use it in
put
public
the
was
hand
on
in front of
a
you.
plane, and in the
Yeah.
end I ended up not taking it
Girl.
out because I had other things to entertain myself with.
Okay.
But yeah, I consider it basically a private thing.
Yeah.
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 And it's my idea of it is basically it becomes my instead of having a desk,
screen.
I have
Yes.
the world around
Yeah.
me. I mean, I still want something for a keyboard and whatnot if I'm doing actual work. But basically, there's no need for a screen. The only thing you need is a comfy chair and something in front of you to put a keyboard on.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you don't want to type with the Vision Pro keyboard except for very short
go on
things.
vacation, goggle, keyboard, that's it.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, if you're not going to do quote unquote work, you don't even need a keyboard. I mean, if you're just going to say yes, no to whoever writes your messages, you're good.
Let's say you code or...
Yeah, if you were going to code or write things or whatever, then the existing keyboard, you can make it work,
Yeah.
but it's a bit of a pain.
If you could, I'd still bring your laptop and then do the.
Yeah, there's also There's also the fact that the
Like
whole
control it, but have the screen.
Right.
yeah the Mac
Yeah.
integration, the Mac
Yeah.
integration or the screen integration works great. By the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
if you think you you
That's the best part of it, I think.
it makes your laptop screen much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how long does it take for you to get tired?
3 hours.
Probably like, yeah, it depends, but probably like 2 hours. I think.
2 hours.
1 to 2 hours.
I get weird that that's like half an hour in, 40 minutes, and another.
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
depends
At
too.
least for 8 hours. Throughout, yeah, you get a red mark that you
Yeah.
stay to.
The newer band is a lot better than the older one. By the way,
Especially-
and
Well,
that's,
you wait more.
sorry.
Get that.
Wait,
I mean the problem is you have a kind of more weight on the front.
Yeah, big heavy glass
I mean,
in front.
You can deal with a lot of weight. It's kind of balanced. And the problem is you still have kind of this thing that's kind of like.
What was talking about.
And Juan, how about you?
Yeah.
How long can you wear it? Have you built a great tolerance given all the amazing work that you've been doing?
It's a little like biking, you know. First time you bike, it's a pain in the ass, and then it gets easier as you do it. But I think 2 hours is good enough for me. After that, I start getting really tired.
Okay.
Mm.
And what
Okay.
about wearing it in public?
Oh, I've been in a park. It was mostly kids that were really curious about it, but they were respectful. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Positive experience.
How did you feel in the park? Were you worried or?
Sorry.
How did you feel in the park while you were doing it? Like, did you feel?
Oh, yeah, I was comfortable. I was doing videos for my app, so I didn't mind people.
Yeah.
I guess the flex is to go to the park and set the environment for a different park.
Nice.
I like to use it in planes and trains.
Yeah.
For me, that's the best. But in trains, I had the same issue that people when entering were doing like this.
Oh, really?
So
Wow.
that gives me also some anxiety because you don't know what if someone is going to do something, you know, and it's
Yeah.
glass. So
When I worked on a train, I feel like nobody paid attention. They were like, "Look at me, I'm cool." I'm just kidding. No, but nobody. I never had like a weird issue, at least on a train. So.
Yeah, but I think this is where glasses really shine because it's a democratized format, so no, everybody will accept it easily.
I mean, the glasses have a bit of the opposite problem that people will get paranoid about you wearing them.
Yes.
Because I mean, at least if you're wearing the Vision Pro, it's very obvious that you're wearing the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
And with the glasses, it's like, hey, so someone filming me, and I
Yeah, but
know this.
this changed almost because in 2010, 12, when the Google team, people
Yeah.
were shouting. But now everybody is the panopticon, like everybody has a
I
phone
mean,
like
well,
that.
I
What
guess-
does it change?
I mean, the people live in a far more obvious dystopia than we did then.
Yeah, but if you do any stupid stuff in the street, or if there's a clown doing something, everybody's like that. So what's the
Yeah.
difference?
Because it's less obvious.
Yeah, it's not as.
Although they have a light that tells
Let's
you
say
that it's
recording.
so, yeah.
You put the
It's-
scotch.
I don't know. I just know I'm trying to make enough money so I can move into the forest and never be seen again.
Christy, were you going to ask a question?
No.
Okay.
I have a question. It's about the black magic camera. If you are aware that they're gonna need a special camera to capture the video for Vision Pro, and it's now going to be sold publicly. So if you already invested 3,000 in the Apple Vision, you can add just 26,000 more and get the camera.
Is that how much it is?
So now I'm thinking about it. Not thinking, you know, the experiment, I'm sorry. That, you know, you always have, you know, apps on Vision Pro that are your room. But you never, and then you have the videos that you can watch and are extremely cool. People on the screen don't understand how awesome it is. And to make like this kind of a mixture between your reality, but you know, using the camera, this is where my thought experiment stuff crashed. Like I wonder what can you do, like games that are, you know, filmed in the Amazonas, you know, like, you know, how the new, if you think about Halo 3, I don't know what gamers play, when you think about Halo 7, it's like Ready Player One is like around the corner.
So I have a bit of a probability with it. Yeah, the $26,000 camera is, I guess, the closest equivalent you could think of is something like an IMAX camera. You don't buy those. You normally rent.
You rent.
So this is for,
That's a good
so either like
Save a
either
bit of
you're
money.
running a studio that's producing this kind of content and then you buy it, or you have to do some of this kind of content and you rent it from someone. They are really extremely like high level professional cameras, and that's basically how that kind of business works.
Also, Canon.
So this is yeah. So I was just going to say, yeah, the content or multimedia context is moving a lot. These cameras, so this is professional equipment, and it's because they record in 8K per eye. There's also a lot going on like in the streaming, but when you test this Apple immersive video, you're going to see that the quality is really good. However, there's people, for example, there's somebody in the community working on an alternative to make this immersive video with cheaper cameras and using AI in the pipeline to upscale the image before. So that's also a really interesting approach.
I think I saw a lens for Canon, so you have normal, like modern Canon to film. You just put a lens, and there's two objectives. So after that, you need a software to process it. But you won't have 8K, of course, but they won't be 26,000. Just a lens.
I'm not gonna lie.
Not so. Amazing. Cool. You got any closing questions before?
No.
All right.
But Juan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today from Paris, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Juan.
And Kelvin? Thank you.